before we actually get to that topic, I do want to open up with one that I'm very excited to talk about, and that is Avowed. Now, obviously, we have it absolutely 1,000% confirmed thanks to Jez Corden of Windows Central. And mind you, his posting did not blow up like it should have, and it certainly is now making the rounds because I just retweeted it. I missed this. In May, as a matter of fact, May 25th of 2024, he had already confirmed that Avowed had moved to Unreal Engine 5.3 with support from Xbox Tech and the Coalition. And again, folks, that is 100% confirmed. And why that is an important conversation is because, well, we're 2 weeks away from Avowed releasing onto Xbox, onto Xbox Game Pass, and onto PC. And listen, folks, it is an Obsidian joint. And we've seen some recent screens, we've seen some recent video, and it is going to be a big release. Umbra, I want to start with you simply because you are Mr. Unreal Engine.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things you and I both agree on is, and Jamie would agree with this as well, is because Microsoft has so many studios and they literally have so many games in development, if a game needs to get out of the way or a game needs to fix some, something that when they showed it off, it was, not controversy, but it was some concern. And one of the things that we can admit is based on the recent screeners, based on some of the video that is making the rounds, thanks to Obsidian themselves, they cooked. And this game being delayed out of 24, literally getting out of the way of everything that was there to now have its own room to breathe in February says a lot. And the more we see of this, the more that the Unreal Engine 5.3 really stands out. Let's get your excitement and your thoughts onto what's happening in a couple of weeks.
I'm excited in general. Anytime you mention Unreal, you already know that my interest is peaked. Mm-hmm. But you have to realize Unreal is all over now. Like everybody is using Unreal for whatever game, just about in so many ways. I don't know why people still deny it, and they just, you got a few stragglers in the chat like it tech. Yeah, we get it. No, it tech is great too. But I think Unreal Engine is easier to work on typically for most, and it's just widely spread. 5.3 brings a lot. And by the way, speaking of, I forgot to mention this because Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is in Unreal Engine 5, right? And that right there also looks gorgeous. See, I see Scott Gamer dude right there. See, he's trying to rile. They're trying to rile me up. Boom, I see them. Shout out to the chat. But I mean, this is from one. I thought I went on the record of saying that I thought Avowed looked good before we got to all of this, and that was way back before we started seeing these newer images and actual gameplay in third person perspectives and all of that. And a lot of people were like, it didn't look that good. It's too colorful, etc. And now you just trolling. Why so serious? RE Engine. So all of these things, and like you start to see it, and it's starting to look really gorgeous. And 5.3 just adds better of everything, right? Nobody knew this, by the way. I think until the other day that they moved up to 5.3. But that just shows you how quick the iterations are coming around for this engine, and it's why it's one of the best in the business. Demanding as it may be, and however many issues it may cause because of the demand of power, it is a great engine. So with this 5.3, they got going to get improved performances, obviously, for mass materials, including foliage, as Wayward Hoove brother, who had his channel canceled, said we used to call it foliage instead of foliage, and an ability to represent a greater range of surfaces. So you're going to see improved surfacing, obviously things of that nature. You're going to see improved materials. You're going to have better hardware ray tracing. You're going to have multi-processing, I guess hooks for the CPU. It's going to allow for more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's going to allow for less time, to load up things, and like all of these things are improved because of the 5.3 from what I had read up on it.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot more enhancements. I can't even name them all because I'm not the best when it comes to the tech side of things, but just reading up on it when I did to see that Avowed is moving up to it has me excited. Again, the game looks gorgeous. We know it's going to play pretty well. We know that it's Obsidian doing what they do, and they put magic on games. So I think everybody should be excited for this. And you say it's dropping what, 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks, I think it comes out on the 14th. I think it's the 14th or the 15th. It's like either Valentine's Day or the day after.
So listen, again, we have so many games to go through, and this was why I wasn't upset with them delaying it as they did to next year. Like here, now look how stacked we are already. Just the first half, crazy, and it gave them more time to iron it out. And now look, 5.3. Had it come out last year, they wouldn't have had it. Now they could have obviously updated the title to that, when it later on with a patch. But I'm just saying, like all of these things, we're going to get a better game because of this now, and that is the beauty of Xbox having so many titles and IP that are just now finally ready to start hitting the shelf. So that's a beautiful thing.
But this is an Obsidian joint, and we know that they can throw down just based on their past works. Again, for me, why I'm personally excited is because I have no affiliation to the Living Lands. This whole IP that's based on older that third person type of I guess ARPG is it called?
Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, it's based on Pillars, and I'm not a Pillars guy. I don't like those type of games. I try, like it's very similar to Baldur's Gate. I didn't like it. I have it. Someone gifted it to me. I tried it. I gave it the old college effort, folks. I really did. But like, even if Pillars was dropped on me today, it's not something that I would play. So for me personally, this is very exciting because this is all new to me. Now, I think that if you are someone that played Pillars of Eternity, you're going to win even more because you know the lore. And I think that is very, very exciting. Listen, let's bring in Jamie Moran on this. Jamie, look, Avowed, I think, impressed people when it was originally shown. Now, granted, the game did look a little sluggish. The graphics weren't as good as we're seeing now. This delay seems like it really, really helped the studio define what they call an RPG. And we know that Obsidian can, in fact, do that. Let's get your thoughts on the screeners that you posted, some of the video that's been out there, and the fact that they've switched over to Unreal Engine 5.3.
Yeah, I mean, this game's gorgeous. If you look at the first trailer, the first gameplay trailer, like, to me, it looked actually pretty good. It's just, the environmental detail is nowhere near as what you see now. And there's a photo floating around of this guy that's basically made of mushrooms. And the amount of detail on this character is pretty ridiculous because, like, I've played, I want to say, almost every single Obsidian game. And let me tell you, there is some level to jank to some of their past games, Fallout, the Outer Worlds. But that's part of the charm at the end of the day. But from the from Avowed, I don't get that. Avowed looks way more polished than we've seen from previous Obsidian titles. So I think a lot of people are going to love this. And also, like, it being set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, like, even if you've never played those games, it's still going to use the lore of that universe. It's going to be a deep RPG. And I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to with this game, and I think a lot of people will, is that it's a 30-hour RPG. And we don't get many of these, Witcher 2, Deus Ex, Mass Effect. Like, this is going to be one of those games. And being able to switch between first and third person, that's something Obsidian doesn't really do much in their past games. But in this game, it looks fantastic. There's lots of platforming in the environment. It has this, I want to call it free-range combat, where you can mix spells with flintlocks, and you have wands and melee attacks, and you're not locked to any specific class, which I love, kind of like Skyrim. So I think a lot of people are going to love that. But I mean, this game's clearly came a long way from when we saw it, like, 2 or 3 years ago. I know a lot of people seem to be hating this game at the minute. I don't really understand why. Maybe it's because it's an Xbox game. I don't know, but I think a lot of people should really try this when it comes out, because I think they'll be surprised. You know, it's a new first-person fantasy RPG, or third-person, which we don't really get a lot of on this scale. You know, this is a hub-based RPG. Everything right now, when you play it, it's a massive open world. You're there for like 100, 200 hours. This is going to be a very focused RPG.
Yep.
And I think, you know, it's going to get people's attention. And I will say this, like, Obsidian, like, they tell some interesting stories. They tell some of the most interesting stories in video games. And I think that if people go into this, you know, trying not to expect Skyrim, I think they're going to love it. I think people will be really surprised when they play this game.
Yeah, you go in there thinking Skyrim. You set yourself up for failure.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Like, I think that it's okay to have expectations, but I think that, you know, Bethesda does things the way Bethesda does things, right? And even though some of their RPGs have, you know, very similar aspects that we know and love and look forward to, and some people dislike, this is not that. And I'm glad that you said that, Jamie, because this is a very focused RPG telling a very specific story. Now, we have been told that there are side missions, there are multiple hidden things to find. And a perfect example, Umbra, and I'm going to bring it right back to you, is the way that we personally play these types of games. We know that if you start here, over there is where we need to go, but we never get there, at least for the next 4 to 5 hours, because we're looking over here and we're looking over there and we're finding new weapons and we're finding new armor and new magic. And I think that a 30-hour game on paper, at least for someone like myself and someone like Umbra, is going to be a 60-hour game
100%.
Because we don't play games that we go A, B, C. We go A, Y, F, going back to G. That's how we. I mean,
it's true.
I mean,
that's why I'm like at almost 300 hours in The Witcher right now, just because. And I beat this game. I know everything is that. I know all of this. Yet when I play these types of games and this game, you know, great games like this, I have to go and do these things over there.
Yes.
So by the time I get back to the main mission, I'm probably over leveled or something. But like, yeah, it's just. I don't know how to combat it. It's just I'm stuck like that.
I just think that, look, however you decide to play Avowed is going to be the way that you're going to either really enjoy it or dislike it. Now, I'm not here to tell you to go either way. The way that I'm personally going to play it is I'm going to jump into this as an Obsidian RPG that I know is going to have deep lore. It's going to have great combat. It's going to have memorable characters that are part of your crew. And if there's one thing to take away from the way Obsidian makes their games, is the characters that you interact with during the story are memorable because they're just not side pieces. Pause. They are important to the story, and you start to appreciate the relationship that you have with each of these characters. That's exactly what happened with some of the characters in the Outer Worlds, which is why I'm super stoked that the Outer Worlds 2 is somehow going to be bookending the Avowed this year. I honestly cannot believe we're getting 2 Obsidian RPGs in the same 12 months. It's just insane. But just bringing it right back to Avowed, I cannot wait for this game, folks. It's coming out in a couple of weeks. I do think, based on some of the things that we've seen, some of the stories that have already been told to us by the developers, this is going to be something that is not only memorable, but I think will end up on some people's lists at the end of the year. Where that goes for you, and I can't even say where it's going to go for me because I have not played it, but I am very excited to jump into it. And again, a couple of weeks cannot get here quick enough. And one of the big ones of the year is Avowed. And guess what, folks? If you have Xbox Game Pass, you play it day and date. and you can buy the upgrade for 20 something bucks, and that is awesome. I love it.